Once upon a time, in a lush forest, there was a bird of vibrant colors named Milo. His blue and yellow feathers shimmered under the sun's filtered rays through the tree leaves. Milo lived among the high branches of an ancient tree, watching his winged companions with admiration, though he himself could not fly. From a young age, Milo struggled to develop his wings. While other birds practiced their flying skills, he remained on the branches, a mix of curiosity and sadness in his gaze. His peers encouraged him to try, but each of Milo's efforts resulted in clumsy and sometimes painful falls. One day, when everyone was busy with their aerial activities, Milo decided to explore the forest floor. He jumped from the branches and landed softly in a new world, filled with sounds and aromas he had never experienced before. Walking through the forest, Milo encountered a wise owl named Alara, known for her insight and knowledge. Intrigued by the small, colorful bird, Alara welcomed Milo kindly and began a meaningful conversation. Milo shared his frustration with Alara. She listened attentively and responded serenely, "Milo, flying is not just about flapping wings and hovering in the sky. It's also about seeing the world from a unique perspective. Have you noticed how the shadows dance between the trees when the wind blows? Or how the sunlight magically illuminates the leaves?" These words echoed in Milo's mind. He began to notice details he had overlooked before. From that day on, Milo and Alara became friends. The owl taught the young bird about the art of observation, patience, and gratitude for the little things. Over time, Milo learned something remarkable. Though he couldn't soar through the skies like his companions, he could experience the world in a unique and special way. Wisdom, he realized, was not confined to physical abilities, but came from understanding and appreciating what surrounds us. The other birds noticed the transformation in Milo. He no longer needed to prove his worth through flight. His wisdom and his ability to see beyond the obvious made him respected by all in the forest. Milo never gave up trying to fly, but now he did so with a light and tranquil heart. He had found a different kind of freedom, a freedom of spirit that came from self-acceptance and the joy of exploring the mysteries around him. Years passed, and Milo continued his journey of discovery and learning. With Alara as his mentor, he explored every corner of the forest, absorbing its secrets. Learning from the wise owl was not just about observing. It was also about understanding the importance of every element in the web of life. One day, while resting in the shade of a century-old tree, Alara shared an ancient story about birds and the wind. "My young friend," she said, "our ancestors believed that flying was not just a physical skill but a state of mind. Flying, to them, meant flowing with the current of the wind, trusting the invisible force that sustains us." These words resonated deeply with Milo. He began to realize that his journey was not just about accepting his physical limitations, but about transcending those limitations through a deeper understanding of the world around him. He realized that in a way, he was already flying in his own unique manner. As time passed, Milo became a notable presence in the forest. His wisdom and perspective inspired not only the other birds but all creatures of the forest. He was known for his empathy and understanding, always ready to listen and offer advice. One day, the forest was challenged by a fierce storm. Trees swayed, and thunder echoed through the air. Birds flew in search of shelter, but Milo remained on the ground, alongside Alara, watching nature's spectacle. When the storm passed, the forest showed signs of damage. Fallen branches and scattered leaves were everywhere. The birds returned to their perches, assessing the wreckage. Milo felt a pang in his heart, seeing his beloved home in disarray. That's when he decided to act. Gathering the other birds and animals of the forest, Milo proposed a collective effort to restore the forest. While the birds gathered materials and the animals helped clear the ground, Milo led with wisdom and determination. Days turned into weeks, and the forest began to slowly recover. Hard work and cooperation brought back the lost beauty. When they finally finished, Milo surveyed the scene with satisfaction. It was at that moment he realized the true meaning of flying. Flying was not just about being in the air. It was about rising above difficulties, working in harmony with others, and feeling gratitude for every moment. As the years passed, Milo continued to grow in wisdom and compassion. He became a beloved figure in the forest, known for his inspiring stories and wise counsel. Though he couldn't fly like the other birds, Milo found a way to reach heights in a different manner. One day, on a starry night, Milo gathered all the forest inhabitants around a campfire. With his gentle, melodious voice, he began to tell an ancient story about a bird's quest for its deepest dream. "My friends," said Milo with a sparkle in his eyes, "long ago, there was a bird like me who longed to touch the sky with its own wings. He spent many years watching other birds flying freely, wishing ardently to do the same." The forest animals listened attentively, captured by Milo's narrative. One day, Milo continued, this bird encountered a wise owl who taught him that true freedom doesn't just reside in flying, but in finding inner peace and accepting the beauty of the journey, regardless of limitations. Milo's eyes shone with determination as he gazed at the starry sky. And thus, Milo concluded, the bird discovered that although he couldn't soar in the sky like others, he could still reach heights through his words, his actions, and, most importantly, through his open heart. That night, as the forest echoed with warm applause, something magical happened. A shooting star streaked across the sky, and Milo closed his eyes, making a silent wish. The next morning, as the sun rose over the forest, something extraordinary occurred. Milo woke up with a lightness in his heart. He walked to a clearing in the forest and, with a smile on his lips, leapt. To everyone's astonishment, Milo began to rise into the air. He didn't fly like the other birds, but floated with the help of a gentle breeze. He hovered above the forest, looking down with gratitude and joy. The animals watched in awe, and Alara, the wise owl, flew alongside Milo. "You found your way to fly, dear Milo," she said with a smile. "True freedom lies within you." Milo then realized that his deepest desire was not simply to fly physically, but to find the inner freedom that allowed him to transcend any limitation. And so, Milo continued to float through the forest, sharing his wisdom and love with all he encountered. His journey inspired generations, reminding everyone that true fulfillment comes from acceptance, gratitude, and the courage to soar beyond expectations. And thus ends the story of Milo, the bird who didn't know how to fly conventionally but discovered the true meaning of freedom and fulfillment. May his journey remind us that our limitations are merely opportunities to grow and discover our own unique way to soar.